All right. Hey, braided beauties. It is so good to see you all tonight. Thank you so much for staying with me. Tonight, we are doing something a little bit different. So, finding our beat here on the Braid Boss podcast. Fellow braided beauties, I've got some interesting stuff for you tonight, though, I must admit. So, you got to keep listening. I'm sharing secrets, I'm sharing product stories, all kinds of goodies for you all in the braiding industry, those who wear braids, those who love braids. It's all things braids. So, tonight we are doing What in the Hair is Going On. We're going to be talking about an NBC article that is talking about putting the essence of African hair braiding salons on stage. And what I mean by stage is literally on stage. We're going to be talking about that play that's in New York that I'm still looking for you braided beauties who want to come out with me to New York to go see it. Let me know so that we can get together and go see it. We're also talking about in the Braider Spotlight tonight plant-based hair. Yes, plant-based hair, which is pretty interesting. Then we're going to talk about 8 problems that are spooky for girls who have to endure braids. And last but not least, I want you to stay tuned for my announcement about Athena's Playpen, where we talk about relationships, sex, love, money, all that kind of stuff. That's the last Tuesday of the month. I've got a big announcement about what we're going to be talking about on there. But first, let's get to what in the hair is going on. So I'm looking over at this article that I found on NBC. So I need y'all to buckle down your bonnets, get ready. NBC, yes, NBC, put out an article entitled Putting the Essence of African Hair Braiding on Salons on Stage. So by now, all of you know, all of y'all who are serious, know that I'm serious about going to New York to see Jaja's African hair braiding play that's going to be at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater, right outside of Harlem. So if you want to come with me, please shoot me an email. Let's talk about it so we can go together. But the article was talking about how it's a love letter to West African immigrants who have come to the United States, started a braiding salon, and have been doing it for many, many, many years. And the play talks about how the lives of these braiders pretty much just goes cold like after you get your hair done. So you get your hair done, and then the client never really thinks about the life of the braider outside of that. Like, who are they? What do they do? Do they have a family? What hobbies do they like? Like, who are these people? Who are these braiders? And historically, it's always been about African hair braiding salons. We all know those of you that are braiders, those of you that are braided beauties, you know that the African braiding shop has been the staple in every single community since the beginning of time. So even in my shops, in the past, there have been stigma, there have been stereotypes that we've had to squash, that we've had to address, just different things like that about the African hair braiding shop. And the play goes into like it's almost like a day in the life style playing out shop talk. Um, it's got the Afro beats in the background, braider gossip, kind of how we do each other sometimes in the shop, the cutthroatness, and then just like the life of a braider, because most people don't know it or don't ever see it. So the playwright, Jocelyn is her first name. Her parents are from Ghana, And in this article, she starts talking about how at the age of 4 or 5, she was always in a braiding shop. It was just like a part of life. It was just the thing to do. So it caused me that after reading the article, I got to thinking, like, what do they what do they do? We only know, and it's Black Americans, African Americans. We're kind of like, there's that stereotype of the African braid shop. You kind of know what to expect. We've stereotyped them with the food or the I don't know, the food or the smells or the language barrier that sometimes happens. But there, it's not just in the African braid shop. Um, while there are many, many, many immigrants who come here from several different West African countries and other countries, not necessarily West African countries, there are American shops, American braid shops, they're British braid shops. It's not just the African hair braiding. So that is something to keep in mind. And while I was thinking about it, I got to remembering what happened when I was in West Africa, when I was in Ghana, in a braid shop. I got the chance to be there and work. And I actually understand what it's like feeling that immigrant feeling. Like, okay, I am kind of out of fish out of water. But the world of braiding starts to come together when we start showcasing our creativity and our passion for braids, no matter where your origins are. So, like I said, I was standing in Accra, Ghana, in a braid shop in the mezzanine area of a place called Kanishi Market. And I was braiding. At the time, I think I owned 2 locations at the time when I went there. Could have just been Sandy Springs, but either way, I went there to sharpen my braiding skills, and I was blessed enough to be able to work with the owner of the shop. Her name was Atta, and she's from South Africa. Shout out to Atta if you're watching. And at that time, you couldn't tell me that I didn't know what I was doing. I had salons, I had taught people, I was doing a whole lot of things. But in that moment, yeah, I was learning so much about myself as a quote unquote new braider at that moment that I know that feeling of I know how to do this, but when you look around, it was all of the sounds, all of the trotros going by, the horns blowing, the people down in the market trading and running their businesses, the hustle and bustle of the market. Just standing there looking out the window, seeing what was going on. And then there was a different style of braiding. I have several experiences that I've talked to clients, other people on my staff in the past, how it's just different braiding on the continent, the way that things are done, the way that the braids are created, and the passion that's behind it. It really is a way of life there. And when they come here, when you see African braiders come here, sometimes we have a stereotype that's not necessarily accurate. We're looking at things from our point of view, not necessarily from them as an immigrant. So when I was in the shoes of an immigrant, standing in Ghana in a braiding shop, braiding, while I knew what I was doing, I still had that feeling where I'm watching them carrying their goods on their heads, and I'm like watching all these things, and I'm sitting there and they're sharing their banku with me, and I'm doing that. But at the end of the day, the thing that brought us together It was so different, yet it was the same. We had something major in common, and that was our braiding. So if you are a hair braider, whether you work in an African braiding shop, an American braiding shop, a British braiding shop, Indian shops, shout out to my braiders on military bases all across the world. I have some clients who told me about their Chinese braiders, all sorts of braiders. If you have that experience, I want to hear about it. Let me know what you think. Because I loved my experience. It made me so much better as a braider, just being able to take the point of view of a different culture and learn it and apply what I knew. Granted, and when I first started, she basically told me to shut up and just watch her. And and I did. And I will admit, Ata, she really like stayed on me and changed a lot of what I was doing wrong. And I implement that in my own classes. So if you take my class, some of the things that I do, some of y'all that have taken my class, there is a 7-point knot that I teach. I learned that when I was in Ghana. So many little just tricks and getting faster. I learned some of those tricks when I was in Ghana, and I teach that in my class. So there's nothing like international experience. Nothing like it. And I believe in it so much that I've even started putting together an international conference so that braiders who come to this braid conference can have some experience braiding in a different place outside the United States. It's so important that you spread your braiding wings and get some experience somewhere else. It matters. So, again, if you're an African braider working in an African braid shop, or vice versa, if you're a British braider working in an African braid shop, or if you're an American braider working in an African braid shop and you got a story, or like, an African braider working in an American shop, or vice versa, any of those littles, let me know. I'd like to hear your story and how you overcome it, how you helped, what you learned, like who you are. So let me know. Stay with me and I will be right back. When we come back, we're talking about the Braider Spotlight, and that is plants are all the craze. But there is now a plant-based hair. So stay with me. We're going to talk about it tonight. Right back.
The station that plays indie artist music and makes local celebrities. This is WMRR Radio. Host your show on WMRR Radio. Get on air at WMRR Radio, the podcaster station. WMRR Radio, the sponsors and advertiser station. Grow your business with WMRR Radio. Start a career in radio. WMRR Radio broadcast training going on now. Register today. Stay tuned and tune in to the Ms. Ross Radio Show on WMRR Radio, Miami.
Get in the indie artist mix with Ms. Ross, broadcasting live from your location. 15 minutes of commercial-free indie.
We are back. Stay with me just a little bit longer. We got some pretty cool stuff to talk about tonight. So we're back on this in the Braider Spotlight. It is plant-based hair. Yeah, plant-based hair. So, yeah. So, right? Yes, you heard me right. So this is really cool. It's like the coolest thing that I've pretty much found since sliced cucumber or pineapple flavored edge control, plant-based hair. So I'm going to just read this, okay? It's biodegradable. So that means that the products are capable of being broken down and returning to their natural earthly elements, given the right conditions and with the presence of microorganisms, fungi, and bacteria. So we all know we wear synthetic hair, even human hair. We wear it, we cut it off, put it in the trash, right? And then it goes off into the trash, file 13 somewhere. So this hair does not contribute to harming the environment. So this plant-based hair, braiding hair, is made from naturally extracted banana fiber and formulated to match textured hair with limited ingredients. None of the ingredients that are used appear on the California Proposition 65 list as banned chemicals. Those of you all on the West Coast, we've heard about Prop 65 a million times. So this is amazing. Kudos to California for always having passed that. All other states haven't done it, but California made it a big deal. So most of us West Coast braiders will know about what that is. So I'm going to keep reading. Studies suggest that beauty and personal care products primarily used by Black women may contain more endocrine disturbing chemicals. During the development cycle, each ingredient is carefully assessed to keep the largest organ in your body, your skin, in harmony via a balanced scalp microbe. Similarly, not disturbing the scalp decreases eczema and psoriasis flare-ups. Identifying which ingredients are commonly found in popular brands of plastic synthetic hair and drawing conclusions about their impact on our ability to avoid these carcinogens, which potentially relate to cancer. So basically what they're saying is they have found chemicals that basically stop the cancer causing, we don't have to wear the cancer causing synthetic hair that we have worn in the past. So I'm sure by now some of y'all have heard about there is a lawsuit. It's like a class action suit where if you are a Black woman and you have certain types of cancer and certain types of ailments, you can be a part of this class action suit because you utilize perms, we call them perms or relaxers. So this is pretty interesting. I'm going to do a lot more research on this. I'm going to get some. We're going to bring some on the show. I want you to keep watching. We're going to do this in November. Find out. I'm going to tell you how it feels, how it braids, all of those things, because this is a game changer. It's such a thing, especially Black women. I mean, am I saying that other women don't wear braids? That's not what I said. What I'm saying is primarily braiding has been an African American thing. It's just a Black female thing. It just has been. And isn't it ironic that what we use tends to cause cancer? Other demographics also wear extensions, also wear different things, but it's normally human. It's almost never ever a synthetic that like this will disturb your scalp. So I am super excited, super excited about learning more about this. Like I said, I'm going to bring some on the show. We're going to talk about it, touch it, feel it, smell it, braid it, make sure that it works, how they say it works, because we all know it's got to dip right and it's got to braid right and it's got to look right. So, but most importantly, and I know, this month it's been about braider health. This is important for our clients. Now, let's just be honest. Is it going to cost more? Probably. It's not going to be the $1.99 hair from the beauty supply. This already sounds expensive. But would you rather pay for this now or wish you had been wearing that type of hair on down the road when you may get some news that you don't want to hear about your health, and then you trace it back to the hair you've been wearing or a relaxer that you got. Isn't that something? That's just it's just too much that the Black female personal care products are problematic. Even I'm sure you all have seen the commercials about the talcum powder. If you use talcum powder, I know my mother, my grandmother, like my ladies in my family, it was a thing. You put your powder on. Even that has led to ovarian cancer, different cancers like that. So this is a thing, plant-based hair. I'm excited about it. Are you excited? Yeah. Let me know what you think. Like I said, we're going to use it on here, and then we'll go from there. Okay. But we're going to have to pay for it. So let's just keep that in mind. So it is October the 24th. Some of y'all are gearing up for Halloween. I just want to lay these cute little things on your mind, spooky things that us braided girls have to manage. Okay. When you're wearing braids. And this is something as a braider you can think about when you're doing your client's hair. All right. Number one, having to wash and condition your own hair, or face the horror of getting it combed out dry and having your entire soul snatched all the way out. We know that feeling. Okay. All right. The next one, dealing with clueless coworkers asking how your hair mysteriously grew overnight. I have heard this so many times from clients saying that, they'll come in, they'll get their tree braids or box braids or crochet weave, whatever. And then they go back to work and their coworkers are like, oh my gosh, your hair grew. Yeah, it's not a mystery. And let me also say, a lot of people who who act like they're clueless, they're wearing it too. They're also wearing extensions. I worked at a really popular extension salon in Scottsdale, Arizona. Shout out to Love Your Locks. Monet is the person out there. Also to Felicia, who taught Monet, who is amazing at these extensions. But I'm telling you, it's not always us Black girls wearing these. And it's not that big of a question mark in everybody's mind. A lot of people wear extensions. So the next one, not being able to fit your hair into a standard size bonnet, scarf, or Dodge Neon. Got some clients who come and they get the extra full. I'm a big hair girl myself. I love it. I have to have it, like the flat stuff. I don't know. But, it's fine when you have to go head first into the car because your hair is so big. It's okay. It's fine. That's why we wear it. All right. The next one is never quite being sure whether you've got all the flakes out of your scalp and wondering if you have a ghost following you, like a little trail of ghosts behind you. So on that one, got to keep that scalp clean. And this is another reason I'm so excited about the plant-based hair. Hopefully it will avoid that. It'll eliminate that. So let's see. And just got a few more here. Worrying that every stray braid that you see on the street is yours, or it could have been snatched off someone's head by a goblin. I know you've been in the parking lot and you've seen that braid on the ground and you're like, oh my God. And if you're not wearing those type of braids, it's like, okay, yeah, that's not mine. And then you're like, oh no, but somebody's walking around minus one braid. So yeah, we've all seen that. And we got just a few more. Having to throw an impromptu slumber party just to get someone to take your braids out. I know that you have all been through that. We have all done that. Hey girl, what you doing? Okay, yeah. Can you come over? Don't you want to spend the night with me? I'll get you whatever you want, whatever you want to eat, whatever you want to watch. I just need you to come help me take these braids out. Having the braider do the evil laugh when you say she's braiding too tight. Of course, none of us braid tight, right? At Strands of Beauty, we don't braid tight. We do it right, always. But I'm sure you have had that moment where you're like, oh, that's too tight. And you almost feel the braiding going, nah, you think that's tight. Watch this one. So, yeah, that part. And then having to moisturize and wash your face in an upward motion, like you're putting on a mask because your braids are too tight. Oh, we've all been there. Always watch out and tell your braider, y'all tell your braider, oh, that's too tight. And braiders, please be nice. Be nice. Your client's going to say it to you. Be nice. Do not get an attitude. Okay. Just lighten up your grip. We are growing hair, not ripping it out. Okay. All righty, braided beauties. We're going to go right into the last word on hair. We're going to go right into it. The last word. And this is an announcement, which you all, I'm sure by now, have figured out that I say my announcements for the end. But next week is the first Athena's Playpen that we're doing on WMRR. If you all follow my podcast, there are other episodes that are on there, but this will be the first time that we're doing it on here. And we're talking about being in love as a braider, being in love as a braider, or being in love with a braider, and all of the wonderful things that we face, and then all of the problems that we face in our romances. So we're going to be talking up next week about stuff like how to deal, okay, with your relationship when you are with someone that's the N word, the narcissist. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. The narcissist. How do you deal with a partner when your person is a narcissist and they just keep feeling more and more and more and more insecure, which normally means they're pouring on the narcissism more to you because you're either doing better at work, braiding hair, you're making them feel however they think they feel. It's all in their head. All those things. How do you manage that when you do hair? When you have to stand there and do somebody's hair and smile and make them look good and work yourself through that? We're going to go over some personal stories, and I also want to hear from you. We are also going to be talking about braider sex life. What to do when you go home and you want some of that good stuff, but your feet hurt and your back hurts and you're completely exhausted, even though you're still in love and you still want to do your thing, but your body is saying, lay me down on a bed and go to sleep. So we're going to be talking about some sex positions to reduce leg pain, what to do when you've had a long day, how to talk to your partner, to explain to them, I love you, I want you, all those wonderful things, but I need about a good 30 minutes. And if you could give me a 15-minute massage, I will make you a happy ending. How to actually say those words. That is what we are going to be talking about next week. So don't worry. I've been researching it for you. Be sure to tune in to Athena's Playpen next week. The Playpen is always the last Tuesday of each month. So I want to hear from you. Remember to reach out to me on any of my social media channels, or you can email me directly at info@strandsofbeauty.com. You can reach me on WMRR, or you can text me. Text me on the salon number. It is 1-855-787-2637 or 770-882-8156. Just text me. Let's talk about it. All right, braided beauties. That is it for tonight. I want to hear from you. Remember that. And until next time, keep braiding.